Merry Christmas. Today's December 24th, 2019. My last video about this car right here didn't go quite the way I wanted it to. The car hadn't been started in a while. A good friend of mine come over and helped me. He and his kids come over and helped me with the valve cover. Passenger side valve cover, getting the darn thing off so I could get the valve cover extenders on it and then get it put back together and get it restarted. And I had to update to the roller rockers because the stock rockers snapped. This engine's got less than or right at 2,000 miles on it and was built in 2004. And it's just been drove a little here and there. And I just hadn't had time to mess with it through the years, lost interest in it, that sort of thing. I'm a Buick guy. I love Buicks, but I've been more concerned about making money and business, which, anyway, that's another story. And anyway, it's priorities, right? So then the night when we did this last video and the car started, I thought it was a plug wire issue. And yeah, it was, I believe. Anyway, the car started off camera, had an erratic idle. Never had that issue before. And by the way, the idle air control is brand new. It was put on there back when I did the engine, or maybe actually before I did the engine. But anyway, it's new. It don't have a few thousand miles on it, if that, on the idle air control. So I know it's not an IAC issue. But it started with an erratic idle, and then it quit. And I made a video the next day. It was Jekyll and Hyde. Again, off camera, the car started, and it sat right here. I actually backed it up a little bit where the exhaust was out the door. And it was like high, low, high, low. And then after it sit there and idled for 5 minutes, it just leveled out. The next day, it was fine. Would not do it at all. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. But I did have a valve train noise, and I made a short little video and sent to one of my best friends about the rocker arm noise. And he came up and adjusted the rocker arms for me and said, oh, that's just as good as it's going to get. That's, you know, these rollers are going to make noise. And I knew they would, but I was hoping it would be a little quieter. So there is a little noise there from the roller rockers. And I've made 3 videos, and I'm going to play with this and try to attach them here. The first video was from the next day, January the 9th at 11:46 a.m. It's 1 minute and 4 seconds, and it's just a quick shot of the car sitting out here idling. And I made this video for my buddy, letting him listen to it, to the noise, valve train noise. And the second video was April the 22nd. Of this year, 2 minutes and 1 second at 4:56 p.m. on April the 22nd, and again the rocker arm noise. And now I believe the turbo seal's leaking, which is a freaking shame because I had this turbo changed over, converted over from a TE60 to a PT54 back when this engine was new, and now apparently I've got a turbo seal leaking and it's smoking. And let's see here. And then on May the 29th, I made another video and I was chasing an oil leak. And that's why the car was jacked up in the front end. I had it sitting over here in this first bay, but it's kind of sitting like that. And it starts an erratic idle again. Not as bad as it's done, but the erratic idle comes and goes. So anyway, today what we're going to do, by the way, these videos, I'm going to attach them right here if I can get this to work right. So right here, you'll see these 3 videos I'm talking about. And then when we come back, we're going to start the car and take it for a drive. Hey, Mike, this little video's for you. I put about 2 or 3 miles on it. It's Jekyll and Hyde. It's doing fine compared to last night. No smoke, no oil leaks. But it's got a little valve train noise. Maybe it's some roller rockers. Of course, you know the cam specs, so let me know what you think. Got a heater heater valve leaking back there, no big deal. This is the repair I made, and it's a vacuum line going into the cockpit for HVAC controls. Other than that, I cannot find any vacuum leaks on this car anywhere. But it's got a little bit of a loop to it. You can hear that valve train, that noise. What do you think? Everything making all kind of racket. Started it up at BP a while ago, and that gray, blue, white looking smoke blew out of it on startup. I think it's got getting blow by through the turbo. That's it on the turbo. Ain't that a bitch? See that? Idling about 183, 185 degrees. All right, I'm gonna give it another 28 seconds, and I'm gonna gig it throttle on it. So look at the smoke coming out of it. I think it's turbo, but then it's making something rubbing or something, or some kind of burning racket. Man, it's like we saved a piece of junk. That's the way I feel. I ain't never had this much problem out of a car before. Not out of this car. Alright. 6 more seconds. That's what it's doing, it's loading up. So if that went well, if I was able to get that put together, then you saw where the car started the next day, and then in April, and then in May. And the last time the car was run was in June. So this will be the first start since June of 2019. I've got the car cover off, as you can see. I have the fuel brought up to the rail. Let me flip this around here, if it'll let me. It won't let me. All right, she's going to look at my ugly mug. I have the fuel brought to the rail. I do have this cap, by the way. I popped it off when I was putting those valve cover extenders on it. I've got the fuel at the rail, disconnected the computer, and built up the oil pressure. And that is the engine bay. And here is the car. So let's give it a start. Let me flip this around here. Yeah, there we go. Let's give it a start, see what happens. Don't want to hit that barrel. See if we can see there. There's the fuel pump, got ignition. No smoke. And I can't get that door open. I gotta have to put a battery in that thing. But the engine is cold, by the way. See, got my hand on the turbo shield there. It is a cold start. Do that again. See, it is a cold start. But I can't get that. I can't get this door up. I'm gonna have to put another battery in the thing over on the wall. And it's not doing a crazy erratic idle at the moment. Well, let's give it a second and see what happens. And while this thing's warming up a little bit, I'm gonna try to get this door open. These I replaced a few years ago on the front. But as you can tell, it has idled up. It's not idling back down, but it has idled up. And yes, you can see it's got dust. Even though it's had the cover on, it's still get dusty. Won't come down. I've never seen it do this. Can't get it to idle down. All right, there it goes. Let's see, we're about to take it for a little spin. Let me set this down just a second here. Wheel down. Myself comfy. Let's just take her for a spin, y'all. man, this thing, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like wagon wheels. The steering wheel's shaking, good grief. I guess these tires are flat spotted from where it's been sitting for so long. I rotated them back in the spring and wished I wouldn't have done it because I had a bit of a shake on this front left tire. And yeah, I'm gonna have to take this thing on back. See if we can turn it around here. Woo, that's crazy. That is just crazy. I thought I'd rotate them because I had a bit of a vibration in the back, and I put it on the front and it was worse. It's just, these tires are just flat spotted. I mean, horrible. Now look at this. This thing's never done this before. I'm too embarrassed to show it. I'm not going to show it. That's crazy. Well, there you have it, folks. It's been a year, unfortunately, almost a year, but you've heard the car start, run, and seen it drive, even though it didn't drive very well with going on. But I do have a confession. Let me get my finger out of the way. These tires, these BF Goodrich radial TAs, are from 1995. So yes, people, that is 24 years old. 24 to 25-ish years old, these tires are. So I would say that's got a lot to do with it. When I drove the car back in June, which was just 6 months ago, just took it for a little spin down the road and it wasn't doing all this. So apparently it's just something over the last 6 months. But then again, every time I pull the cover off this car, it's something else, something broke here, something new here. Ugh. But I'm still a Buick guy. I still love Buicks. When I say Buicks, I'm talking about Buick engines, Buick powered Buicks, or Buick engines in Chevy bodies. But never, ever a Chevy engine in a Buick body, because that's just stupid. I mean, if you don't know how to build a Buick engine, learn. I love the Buick V8. Speaking of which, I have one of my best friends, has a beautiful 70 GS, restored the car 10, 12 years ago, and it's sitting in a warehouse up the street here in Franklin, Kentucky. But he would sell the car along with his original 32,000 mile Grand National. He bought brand new. It has had some work here and there, turbo upgrade, stuff like that. But that car has been sitting out, and I will put the links to the two cars in the description, which you're supposed to be reading the YouTube descriptions, you know, which is right below here. So there'll be a description to both cars, but you have to buy both cars to get them. He won't sell them separate. But $60,000 for both cars, which really is a buy this day and time. But he is the original owner of the 87 GN 32,000 mile car, and the 70 GS is a beautiful car. And with a bottle on it, low 10-second car, no doubt. He's never put a bottle on it, but I just know with a bottle on it, it would be a low 10-second car easy, maybe a 990, but it's definitely a sleeper. And the video that I made on the car years ago, the 70 GS, by the way, my plans was to go out and, I was sandbagging, planning on going out picking on some Chevys, and I just never got around to it. But it's not a stock 455, folks. So, I mean, I didn't even grab a gear. I was just cruising along, letting it shift itself. So, anyway, but be sure to check out those links in the description below. Any Buick guys interested in a GS and a GN package deal, there you go. And that's the latest on my car. And don't know if there'll be any more videos on this car for a while, because I don't plan on buying any tires for it anytime soon or doing much else with it for the time being. Don't have much time to do anything, but there you go. Merry Christmas. Yes, as I just said, Merry Christmas, but one final thought. Just thought I'd bump the key one more time to show y'all, yes, the car does run. Let's just see how it fires up. And it's not smoking at all right now. Oh well. Well again, folks, December 24th, 2019. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Don't know when I'll be making any more videos on this old car again, if ever. Goodbye.